Good day, elegant monkeys. How are you? Got quite the dump going on in crypto right now. Nothing like overly dramatic. People are freaking out. I don't think there's any reason to freak out right now. Some people put their whole bag into Libra. Probably not a good idea to go full port into a less than hour old meme coin. So they're paying the price for that. You know, that's causing some dumping going on in Solana right now and causing some dumping going on in the whole market. This whole time, I think Bitcoin has been weak in my personal opinion. I think all these little lines off here, too many. Bitcoin's just consolidating. So it's a boring market. It's really hard to trade if you're trying to do support resistance. If you're trying to do support and resistance or breakout trading, you're getting eaten alive. So I don't suggest it. I would wait until we have clear momentum and then go back in if that's your play, if you're a trader. If not, now's a good time to start buying your bag. Start filling up your all, start filling up on Bitcoin and get ready for this next leg up, because ultimately I am a bullish motherfucker. I'll tell you that. I think we're freaking pumping. We just gotta wait for the right time to come. Personally, for me, I think I was bearish on Bitcoin short term. I thought we would get another stab down. Now I'm more thinking that we're just going to get a slow, relentless climb up and then the pump. But the climb up will be jagged as we're going up there. So it's going to be hard to trade. So I don't recommend doing that at all. But today, what I wanted to look at is some RWAs, aka some real world assets, which if you don't know, that is a super big meta for this cycle, for this play. We got AI, we got RWAs. What else we got? DeFi agents, I guess. Or I'm sorry, AI agents. So I want to look at some RWAs in this video from Coin Bureau. So let's check this out today. When I'm looking at RWAs too, like, I mean, I definitely hold VeChain, although my VeChain bag is getting smaller because, not that I'm losing faith, but I like that there's other opportunities I like better. Constellation DAG has some RWA elements to it. ADS token has RWA elements, or is RWA as well. That's kind of what I know.
Crypto is all about
Let's
narratives.
look at what he recommends.
The tricky part is figuring out which narrative will be the biggest.
If you don't realize that yet, it is true. It is all about narratives. Up until basically this point, everything's just been a meme coin. Even the things that are supposed to be real and have real utility are just meme coins. We're right at the cusp of some real utility happening, aka Constellation DAG. Look into it. But other than that, it's all narrative. So if you're going to ignore these narratives, you're just going to miss out on the strongest sectors of the cycle. So it's something you need to pay attention to, whether you believe in the narrative or the sector or not. By the way, none of this is financial advice. I'm a cartoon monkey. Let's keep going.
Which one?
Well, it looks like one of them is going to be tokenized real-world assets, or RWAs. And that's because asset managers like BlackRock are launching tokenized RWAs left and right.
And when we look at RWAs, or real-world assets, you know, you could think of that being something in IT, or you can think of that being something in IoT, like some sort of chip in a small physical product that's moved around. But it also can be like a treasury bond that becomes tokenized. That would be considered a real world asset. So it's not always physical things. They can be financial instruments that become tokenized and then are traded.
And are even pressuring the SEC to let them do more, just like they did with the spot Bitcoin ETFs. And that's why today we're going to do a deep dive into the top 5 RWA cryptos. Stay tuned. Before we begin, let's make something clear. Financial advice is not given here. I don't tell you what to buy or trade. Your portfolio is built from the choices you've made. Tokenized art and stocks on chain, RWAs, are changing the game. But this is crypto and the risks can be steep, so DYOR before you take the leap. Hit like and subscribe if you're here to stay, and with that out of the way, let's talk RWAs. Now, let's start with a bit of background. Tokenized RWAs, or
how long do you think it took him to write that script?
Real-world assets are, well, exactly that. They're assets you find in the real world that are digitized and put on a blockchain. And this can include things like real estate, art, intellectual property, gold, stocks, and treasury bonds. When these assets are tokenized on a blockchain, their associated tokens essentially serve as a proof of ownership of the underlying asset. What you may not know, though, is that pretty much every single one of you have used RWAs at some point. And that's because stablecoins are technically RWAs, as they are tokenized versions of real-world currencies like the US dollar. What makes tokenized RWAs exciting is that they provide multiple benefits over their real-world counterparts. Suppose you're selling an apartment building. Finding a buyer for this building could be difficult, as you would either need to find someone who can buy the whole thing or arrange a complex deal consisting of multiple buyers and lots of paperwork. If you tokenize this apartment building, though, it becomes possible to do a bunch of things, like split the apartment building into thousands of shares that can be purchased by investors, with all the ownership rights being tracked by smart contracts instead of lawyers. You could even create a market for these shares and earn a cut of the fees as they're bought and sold by the investors. This is just one example of the many possibilities enabled by tokenized RWA.
Something that people really won't speak about, or maybe he will, I don't know. But the risk of RWAs with physical assets, such as oil, such as real estate, is you're still trusting a third party. Because there is no direct connection between the blockchain digital world and the physical world. We need a third party human being to say, hey, we actually have 100 barrels of oil here, and we're now tokenizing those 100 barrels, and now you can go buy them and trade them as you will. So there is risk. There's third party counter risk. So you have to be aware of that. Never go full tilt in any of this stuff. It's risky. With the things that are more not physical, it's a little bit easier, especially if people build their financial instruments on the L1 itself. Then now we're really talking, which hopefully Constellation DAG is happening. We'll see.
And many people in crypto and beyond are very bullish on them. For instance, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink has been obsessed with tokenizing real-world assets, so much so that it's honestly starting to get a bit creepy. In any case, Larry believes that tokenization can streamline financial processes by reducing costs and eliminating TradFi complexities. In fact, Larry says that tokenized RWAs can reshape the way that assets...
I mean, with the bonds and the stocks, this just seems obvious. I mean, that seems like absolutely that's going to happen. It's not a difficult thing to do. Why would this not be readily available? And as a crypto user, crypto trader, the idea of the traditional markets where they have a start time and an end time is just hilarious to me. It seems so dated and just backwards. And like to go from crypto trading 24 hours a day to be like, oh, it's the weekends we stop trading. That's just silly. It's stupid. Put the damn thing on chain and let's go.
Managed. And when the CEO of the world's largest asset manager is saying that, you'd be crazy not to think that the narrative has potential. So then, this brings us to the first RWA crypto that you need to watch, and that's Chainlink. Now, for those unaware, Chainlink is a decentralized Oracle network that connects smart contracts with real-world data. And this enables secure and reliable interoperability between on-chain and off-chain systems. This is key for asset tokenization, where asset ownership needs to be handled with precision.
If you don't understand, Chainlink is basically an example of the third party that I'm talking about, the third party risk. Because there is no direct connection between Ethereum or some of these L1s to the physical space, Chainlink works as the intermedium, being the trusted source. I'm using quotes you can't see with my monkey fingers, but my real fingers are quoting trusted source that the information getting is correct. I'm not overly bullish on Chainlink, obviously, long term. But, well, one being because I'm so damn bullish on Constellation DAG, and Constellation DAG does not require Chainlink services in any way. So, yeah.
Such many RWA projects use Chainlink to ensure data reliability, making Chainlink the leading data driver for the entire RWA narrative. Using our apartment building example from earlier, Chainlink would be able to verify the property's value and could even automate the distribution of any rental income for each apartment. What's more is that Chainlink's oracles provide complete transparency.
That would be like Chainlink is looking at Zillow, and then the people are confirming that the information from Zillow is accurate. That's kind of how that would work.
And its smart contracts can be triggered based on real-world events. So, if an asset is sold in the real world, the blockchain will automatically be updated. Pretty sweet, right? Anyway, Chainlink has shown resilience in the face of years of crypto's ups and downs, and this has led many crypto projects to only accept stablecoins and other assets that have Chainlink's price feeds. Not only that, but Chainlink has a load of cool features to enhance the way it provides the real-world data. For example, there's Chainlink Functions, which is a serverless Web3 platform that leverages Chainlink's oracles to bring Web2 data on-chain. And this provides additional RWA data, such as the available yields or the ownership records of a particular asset. Chainlink's tech all sounds pretty awesome, but where does its token come in? Well, Link is used to pay for the operation of a wide variety of Oracle services, which is the main demand driver for the token. Link is also used to incentivize node operators to provide accurate data and can also be used for staking. Logically, this means that Link's price is likely to be pushed up as adoption increases and more RWA projects start paying for the data feeds. And this is why some analysts, like those at K33 Research, have labeled Link as the, quote, the safest bet in the RWA narrative. Okay, our second RWA crypto pick is Ondo, which has emerged as a leading RWA platform. Ondo is centered around the creation of tokenized traditional assets that provide a stable income-generating yield. The key to Ondo's success is its transparency and its compliance with TradFi regulations, meaning that investors of all kinds can feel assured that everything is being done above board, so to speak.
I've definitely heard the hype with Ondo in terms of RWAs, but it is a new project for me personally. I don't know much about it.
Ondo's structure is primarily made up of two arms: the asset management arm, which creates and oversees the tokenization of RWAs, and the technology arm, which develops DeFi applications that support the scalability of Ondo's financial offerings. Ondo also offers several products of its own, such as the USDY stablecoin. USDY, which stands for US dollar yield, is essentially a tokenized digital dollar that's secured by short-term US treasuries and bank demand deposits. Another one of Ondo's products is OUSG, which provides tokenized exposure to BlackRock's BUIDL, a short-term treasury fund. Oh, and if you're wondering about Ondo's ties to BlackRock, Etherscan shows that it holds around 38% of BlackRock's BUIDL fund. Crazy stuff. Oh, and just recently, Ondo made two seriously bullish announcements. First, it revealed the next evolution of Ondo Global Markets, or Ondo GM. In a nutshell, Ondo GM is a platform designed to tokenize access to stocks, bonds, and perhaps more importantly, ETFs. The aim is for Ondo GM to make RWA investing much more accessible, transparent, and efficient. Notably, Ondo
Let's look at this. In this framework, Ondo GM will propel financial markets into the open economy, returning power to stakeholders to make their own decisions and compete on a level playing field while addressing challenges like high fees, limited availability, and transfer frictions. I've heard that from every goddamn project. Nothing. Okay. That's why today we're excited to share the next evolution of Ondo's global markets platform with tokenization framework that combines stablecoin model transferability with the liquidity we have always envisioned. Okay, nothing. All right, thanks. Okay, just hype. I've heard it every project.
GM's reimagined framework was inspired by the accessibility and liquidity of stablecoins. Ondo then revealed the Ondo Chain, a purpose-built layer 1 for institutional-grade RWAs.
Okay.
Ondo Chain was designed alongside advisors that include industry leaders like Franklin Templeton, Wellington Management, WisdomTree, and Google Cloud, to name but a few. Ondo says that an all-new RWA-focused blockchain was needed, since existing chains lack the infrastructure needed for true institutional adoption. Although the chain will be open for anyone to participate, Ondo Chain's validators will be permissioned, only operated by reputable or regulated institutions. According to the announcement, this is to prevent front-running and MEV attacks. There's also a subset of validators that will be
just so the institutions can do the front running. That's what we need. We just need to make sure that the institutions can continue to be able to do their front running. That's the good part.
Run by financial institutions, allowing for seamless integration with TradFi networks.
Because if there's one thing about crypto bros is we all trust the traditional markets, and we love the traditional markets, and we love those big players and want them to take over the crypto market.
And Ondo Chain will have native DeFi support for RWAs that will incorporate Ondo's bridge. So then, what about the Ondo token? Well, Ondo is used for governance to vote on things like protocol upgrades, treasury allocations, and strategic partnerships.
Wait a minute. We got a validators that are chosen. They have to be big banks or BlackRock. But yeah, we're going to be able to vote in a decentralized way, and then they're going to implement it. How does that work? How do we have a DAO, and then we're going to tell the institutions what they're going to do, and they're going to follow our directions? That's bullshit. Like some of this stuff is, I think some of the stuff is so stupid. Honestly, I think these DAOs are stupid. I think DAOs are dumb. I don't understand it. I don't understand how we vote in a decentralized fashion. We come to an agreement of the vote, but we still need a human being to carry out the upgrade or the coding or whatever we voted for to happen. And they could just say no or do something different. That part's weird to me.
With a bit of luck, changes to crypto regulations will make it possible for Ondo to capture a portion of the yields it generates on the over $650 million of tokenized assets it offers. With Ondo's unique approach to tokenized assets and its focus on regulatory compliance of all asset types, the project is perfectly positioned as one of the most important RWA cryptos out there. As the adoption of tokenized RWAs grows, Ondo could do well. As
I've only heard, like we're saying, Ondo is one of the most important chains for this. And I have like some belief in that because I've heard about it so much, but I'm only hearing about it from YouTube influencers and Twitter KOLs, you know? So it's just the big names talking about it. Therefore, it has some credibility, but it's not real credibility. It's just people talking. And then maybe you get paid to talk about it. I don't know.
more and more asset managers flock to its current and future products. And if you're looking for a deeper dive and price predictions for Ondo, then have I got a treat for you, right over here in the top right. Now, our third RWA crypto pick is Mantra.
Right. I've heard about this one as well. Don't know much about it.
As a fun fact, we actually covered Mantra in the Coin Bureau Club in July of last year. Since then, Mantra's OM coin is up almost 10 times at the time of shooting, and it's not hard to see why. That's because Mantra supports RWAs through a combination of regulatory compliant infrastructure, modular tools, and strategic developments. For those unaware, Mantra is a highly scalable Layer 1 crypto specifically designed for RWAs. Mantra puts compliance first by embedding KYC, AML, and transaction monitoring directly into the protocol. And this ensures RWAs on Mantra are fully compliant with global regulations for all asset types, crucial for institutional adoption. Mantra is a Cosmos-based blockchain, meaning it leverages Cosmos's Inter-Blockchain Communication Protocol, or IBC, to enable cross-asset transfers. And to make sure everything is as seamless as possible, Mantra also has a decentralized ID system through the use of soul-bound NFTs, which helps with KYC across multiple platforms. Mantra's modular architecture is what allows its blockchain to support RWAs. For instance, there's a Mantra Token Service, or MTS, which is a powerful toolkit that allows devs to issue and manage tokens with customizable yields, royalties, and permissions. Notably, MTS also includes the ability to freeze and destroy tokens associated with illicit activity.
I don't like that. I don't like that. What's suspicious? We're all going to be suspicious in a couple years, depending on who rules the government. I don't like that idea. I get it. And I get, we're trying, if we're betting on institutional adoption, if we want our coin to pump, we want institutional adoption. So these abilities are what institutions want. But man, I wonder if we're all just going to go back to Bitcoin at the end of the day. I don't like that shit.
Then there's Mantra Guard module, a compliance and permissioning.
Oh, but the other thing, dude, like Mantra token stuff, like there's some interesting information there. I'd have to dig down deeper. I can't comment on this quickly. But I am more bullish on something that's built on Cosmos compared to like ETH.
System that works in tandem with Mantra's digital IDs. Essentially, the Guard module's role is to determine which users are able to access and interact with particular assets in order to ensure regulatory and legal compliance. There's even a dedicated compliance module, specifically designed to tackle any regulatory hurdles of on-chain financial transactions. Admittedly, this might sound like overkill to the average person, but to institutional investors, this sort of regulatory compliance is absolutely essential. Anyway, what sets Mantra apart is the primary focus on regions like the Middle East and Asia, where it collaborates with regulators to streamline the licensing of RWA tokenization. The result is that Mantra has been partnering with giants.
Well, that's less bullish to me. I think the focus is on America right now. I mean, with Trump in office being pro crypto, I want to be looking at the projects who are focused on getting to America. Because if they get to America, then they can spread out from there. But if you're tackling Asia first or you're tackling the Middle East first, it's hard to get into America. I think America is the key that gets you to the rest of the world. So I would want to be looking at projects that focus on that first. And this is my opinion. Of course, I could be totally wrong. And I'm not saying that these tokens aren't going to pump. I think they probably are all likely to pump purely just from the hype. They have big voices behind them, so they probably will do well no matter what.
Such as property developer DeMac to tokenize over $1 billion in real-world assets on its chain. And this relates to Mantra's coin. Now, can be used for staking, which allows holders to help secure the network while earning a yield. Holders can also gain governance rights and can vote on things like future upgrades or ecosystem grants. And of course, it's also used to pay for transaction fees on the...
Another thing with this voting and DAO bullshit, it's like most of these people have no idea what is best for chain. Most crypto people, bag holders, they don't know shit about it, and they're not going to make the intelligent decision for the long term of the chain. They're going to be thinking about, hey, how do I get my bag to pump today? I guess I like ThorChain, though. I think the holders of ThorChain do care about the project. But I think in general, like if I'm watching this YouTube video and I'm going to go load up on Mantra, I don't give a shit about the long term of the project. I want the coin to pump this week. So my vote is not going to be useful for the strength and long-term viability of the chain.
Network. As a layer 1 blockchain purpose-built for RWAs, Mantra's permissioned infrastructure makes it an attractive solution for institutions. As such, could see significant price appreciation as the narrative takes off, although do bear in mind it's seen some pretty impressive gains already. Okay, our fourth RWA pick is MakerDAO, which recently rebranded to Sky.
No way! I didn't know they changed it. Oh, that's interesting. I remember Maker.
Before rebranding, MakerDAO was a pioneer in integrating RWAs into DeFi, primarily through its DAI stablecoin, which also recently rebranded to USDS. The reason for the rebrand was to illustrate Sky's endgame, which is to decentralize the Maker protocol into independent sub-DAOs, which are now called stars, each with their own governance tokens but utilizing Sky's framework. We should point out that both the original MKR and DAI tokens are still active, and upgrading to the new Sky and USDS tokens is optional. This gets seriously interesting.
Confusing. What? That's fucking confusing. God, how is that going to work out? That's weird.
When you learn that...
If you missed that, so you can hold your Maker MKR or convert it to Sky. But are they connected? Is it just rebranding, or are they actually separate?
Proposal to rebrand back to MakerDAO was rejected by just 4 whales with a 98% majority. A rabbit hole for another time, perhaps. Anywho, by leveraging RWAs, Sky enhances the utility, stability, and scalability of the USDS stablecoin, which acts as a bridge between TradFi and DeFi. To avoid relying on volatile crypto assets as collateral, Sky uses RWAs like US Treasury bonds, mortgage loans, and even renewable energy project financing as collateral in order to mint this USDS. This helps Sky to generate a stable yield, which reportedly accounts for around 48% of its annual revenue. To manage these off-chain assets, Sky uses a specialized RWA foundation and a special purpose vehicle to ensure regulatory compliance and full governance control over off-chain assets. And to ensure this regulatory compliance, Sky's design features safeguards to freeze any USDS involved in illicit activity. Of course, the Sky token can be used for governance, allowing holders to vote on parameters like fees, interest rates, and any future...
Thank God. Oh, no!
This is what losing 15 kilograms...
I lost it. What happened? Oh, I was
Crypto
just
is all about
smart-ass comment about more voting. Sorry about that.
Sub-DAOs, which are now called in order to mint this USDS. This helps Sky to generate a stable yield, which reportedly accounts for around 48% of its annual revenue. To manage these off-chain assets, Sky uses a specialized RWA foundation and a special purpose vehicle to ensure regulatory compliance and full governance control over off-chain assets. And to ensure this regulatory compliance, Sky's design features safeguards to freeze any USDS involved in illicit activity. Of course, the Sky token can be used for governance, allowing holders to vote on parameters like fees,
Okay, here's my smartest comment. Oh, good, more voting. There we
interest
go.
rates, and any future protocol upgrades. And what's more is that it acts as a backstop in the event of debt shortfalls. So if collateral asset value drops below loan values, Sky's token can be minted and sold to cover any losses. And what's great is that to counter that supply being minted, any surplus fees generated from loans are used to buy back and burn Sky tokens. And this is part of a more complex system called the Smart Burn Engine, which is outside the scope of this video. But the result is that Sky is actually deflationary overall, which is bullish for its price. This will be especially true as the RWA narrative sees more adoption, because there would be more protocol fees to fund the Smart Burn Engine. And as you've probably guessed, that adoption will likely come from institutional investors who may want to boost their wealth through tokenized assets like treasury bills. And this would push Sky's price, well, skywards. Now, our fifth RWA crypto pick has to be Ethereum. And that's because Ethereum and its layer 2 ecosystem absolutely dominates the RWA sector, accounting for around 86% of all on-chain RWAs. Ethereum has been used by major institutions to launch tokenized real-world assets, and these include the likes of BlackRock, UBS, and Franklin Templeton, to name but a few. As you'll know, Ethereum is technically the most secure and developed smart contract crypto, making things like RWA transfers, fractionalized ownership, and automated compliance a walk in the park compared to other blockchains. But what you may not know, though, is that when it comes to RWAs, Ethereum has another trick up its sleeve. And that's because Ethereum has a specific token standard designed for RWA tokenization called ERC-3643. In a nutshell, ERC-3643 enables institutions to tokenize real-world assets whilst meeting KYC and AML requirements. Oh, and fun fact, ERC-3643 has been dubbed the Token for Regulated Exchanges Protocol, or TREX for short. Obviously, not all RWAs will be running around as T-Rexes.
Isn't the CEO of BlackRock bullish on RWAs because it's going to make everything cheaper and more efficient? And if we're trying to do this T-Rex token standard, which is a new standard, I haven't heard of it, but if that's going on L1 and it actually is functioning, then ETH is going to pump in terms of transactions, so the cost is going to go up. So isn't that going to destroy BlackRock's vision of it being cheaper? So then it has to go to an L2. And if it goes to an L2, then ETH is not going to pump because L2s do not affect ETH price. So is there a problem there? Am I missing something, or am I getting that totally wrong?
Most RWAs on Ethereum right now likely exist as ERC20 tokens, which, for those unaware, is the most common token standard on Ethereum. If you see a project runs on Ethereum, chances are it's an ERC20. Anyway, while Ethereum's layer 2s are a bit of a meme right now, they do make transactions much faster and cheaper, which is precisely what's needed for on-chain RWAs to flourish, at least the ones that don't require high security guarantees. Best of all, you won't struggle to find an Ethereum layer 2 because, there's like a bajillion.
Right, now I don't understand. If I want the security, I'm going to ETH layer 1 because that is likely, arguably, the most secure smart contract platform, proof of stake. Like, I guess that, yeah, I think probably people have the most confidence in that. Maybe the Department of Defense would think Constellation, but I think majority of people would agree with that. But if I don't care about security and I'm going to go to an L2, then what the hell's the point? Why not go to Solana or go to something dramatically cheaper, such as the Ohm, or what's the other one, Rondo you mentioned before? I mean, there's so many L1s right now, and there's so many people competing for the RWA space. It seems like the RWA space is basically everybody. What's the other one we're looking at? XDC is another one I'm looking at now. XCN. There's just so many. I don't understand why ETH would be in this case here. I understand it for the security aspect, but it's not going to be cost efficient.
Of them? All right, sorry, that was a bit of a cheap shot. In all seriousness, though, the fact that most RWAs are on Ethereum explains why spot Ethereum ETFs continued to see significant net inflows despite ETH's recent struggles. Perhaps the upcoming Pectra upgrade could further help improve Ethereum sentiment. We actually have a video all about Pectra, which you can check out right over here. For now, though, all you need to know is that Pectra will improve Ethereum's scalability and efficiency on the base chain, which will allow more RWA activity to take place on the layer 1. So then, what does all of this mean for the crypto market? In short, tokenized RWAs are extremely bullish for crypto. And that's simply because most asset managers have decided to tokenize their RWAs on public crypto blockchains and use public crypto protocols. This is a trend that's only going to continue as regulations improve. In fact, RWAs could be one narrative that sees more capital inflows than any other crypto narrative out there. And we reckon this is...
I mean, that's highly true. That's accurate. I mean, because it's going to be every single thing on the planet is tokenized. So, yeah.
Especially true for Ethereum.
I don't agree with Ethereum at all. I don't get it. Really. It's like the market makers in the traditional market, they don't want the truly decentralized thing. They want to be able to roll back. They want to be able to have as much control as possible. So why aren't they going to pick, what was it, Ondo? Was that the one with the centralized validators? Or they're going to pick Hedera Hashgraph? Or, no, I don't think they're going to pick VeChain, but they're going to pick something where they have the most control over the situation. They wouldn't pick Ethereum where they have very little, well, I guess they could buy all the stake, but they have less control, less easily controlled. Why would they pick that? Then if they do pick that, then they're going to have to pick what the extreme rising cost if it functions well. So then they're going to have to get off of that and go to an L2. Like, I don't see this.
Now, this might sound a bit odd considering that it isn't purpose-built for RWAs like some others, but hear us out. As we mentioned a moment ago, Ethereum is home to the vast majority of RWA activity already. And that's precisely because it's the most secure smart contract crypto. So while we're sure that RWAs could cause plenty of other cryptos to pump, it's most likely to be ETH that's front and center. This is especially true when you consider the regulatory backdrop for crypto in the US. Say, did you know that President Donald Trump's own DeFi protocol, World Liberty Financial, has been buying up ETH by the bucket load? If ETH does begin to gain momentum, other altcoins should eventually follow. But you won't be making multiple gains on ETH.
If ETH gains momentum, yeah, if.
Or even larger established altcoins, that's for sure. And this is exactly why we started the Coin Bureau Club. There you'll be able to see what we here at the Coin Bureau hold in our own personal portfolios. You'll also find weekly altcoin reviews for...
You don't have to pay me or join anything. I'll tell you, I hold most elegant monkey ever, Bitcoin Constellation Network, Quant, ads token. That's it, baby. I got some other stuff, not much, but that's the main.
Promising projects voted on by you, our members, as well as daily alpha and insights from members of the Coin Bureau research team. So if you want to stay ahead of the game, consider becoming a member of the Coin Bureau Club using the link in the description. And
I'll talk a little trash on them shilling, but I like Coin Bureau. I like the video. I think that guy's a good presenter. I think that was fairly well done. I disagree. I think it's fairly well done. For me, for RWAs, like I'm looking at, I'm trying to find the one that's going to take the cake. That's what I want to know. Who's going to tokenize the American stock market? Because that's what matters to me. Whoever does that is going to win, right? I mean, I think that's obvious. I don't care about the guy who's tokenizing windmills in Holland or whatever, like pickled cabbage in China, like that. These tiny use cases, I don't give a shit. They don't matter. What matters, who's going to win the game of tokenizing the US stock market? And to me, the only one who has a chance of winning that game is somebody who is like an American blockchain, you know, one of those ones on the list. I can't imagine that Trump is going to allow a chain that was created overseas, offshore, somehow is too decentralized, somehow is like not American approved, American made, red, white, and blue. So that's what I'm looking at. And in that way, I'm seeing this as being Hedera Hashgraph, Constellation Network. Who else? Maybe Cardano, but they just seem so slow to get anything done. Like they just seem behind the pack. What else? That might be, that's really probably the three majors I think have the possibility in terms of public chains. And I don't think they're going to pick a private chain. Yeah, and maybe it's Hedera is like lining up for this, but Constellation DAG has already got the Department of Defense. That's why I'm so bullish on them. You know, like they're already in government. They're already approved. So that's why I'm so freaking bullish on them. But if you were looking for the RWAs, if you're looking for that cycle, and it's very intelligent to be in that place, I would be looking at the stuff that's on the American list. And maybe if you want me to make a video going through that later, let me know, and I'll try to tear that down and go through those and see which one I think is the best. I mean, I think right now for me, the pick is Constellation DAG, and I don't know how that's going to change, but I will go through that list and maybe give like top 5 or top 10 if you want. Let me know. But for your own personal thing, I would be starting from the American-based chains, going from there, thinking, hey, what is going to work? And also, I guess, looking at the ones that are the ISO 2022 standard. I think that's what it is. So I think XTC is in there. Quant is in there as well. I would be looking off of those things that are already going down the regulated path. And, you know, maybe you want to spread your bet out. Maybe you want to pick the top 3 or top 5. And because one of them is going to win. I don't know which one it is, but it's going to be freaking mega when it happens. It's going to be gigantic. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel. If you want to support my work, I'm going to put a Bitcoin address down below. Check out Constellation DAG. I've said it enough in this video already, but also check out Most Elegant Monkey Ever. I think it's the best meme coin in the space. It's the only meme coin I hold, and it likely will be the only meme coin I will hold for a long time. I believe in it. Anyway, stay elegant.